And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, the Absolutely Premier League show. It's our first official Absolutely Premier League show 2026, as we've been doing watch-alongs and all sorts of stuff. So there we go. Very exciting. We're going to cover everything from the Premier League action at the weekend, transfer news, massive results, plenty to go through. So had to have a back four. No mucking around with a back three anymore. We've got a back four, and what a sturdy back four it is. I've got the wonderful Ants with me. His t-shirt says he's an alien, but he's not. He's a lovely guy. How are you doing?
No, it's a lottery winners reference. The band, not the people that won lottery. Yeah, it's a song by them. Well, it's a line of a song. Yes, I'm all good. I'm glad that though this week for your show you have remembered the right music, but for my show last week you put the wrong one on. So I'm happy that you've remembered stuff for you. I must admit.
I prioritise what I have to, you know. I mean, at least it was the same album, you know what I mean, by the same artist. So you know, it was kind of there. You know. It's a good tune as well, the women's football tune. So
it's not a bad tune, to be fair. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it could have been worse, couldn't it? It could have been Sam Fender or something.
It could have been something really random, or You Never Walk Alone or something. At least we had we had a song. But someone who's not singing You Never Walk Alone and wasn't singing at the Bournemouth Liverpool game, which we will be covering. Heather's with us tonight. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Great to hear it. Very excited to talk about a Bournemouth win.
Mm-hmm. Second one in a row.
Second home
win in a row.
Second home. Look at that. Everything's looking positive. And a man who's always positive. He's super positive today. He's got a big smile on his face. The wonderful Grimmy is here. How are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic, Sam. I couldn't be better after a glorious couple of weekends as a Manchester United fan. What a time to be alive. Carrick's at the wheel. How good does it feel? How are you, sir?
Oh, very similar. It's lovely for us to be on in a positive space after the weeks that had preceded that. And it's been lovely. 2 weeks in a row. How very, very exciting. And very excited as well because we have some congregating people in the chat. We have the wonderful Graham is with us. Good evening, Graham. Good evening to Simon's in the chat. Graham is currently listening to us while he's watching the Aki game, of course. That's where Rebecca is. Accrington Stanley 1-1 at the minute with Newport County, I believe. Sean's here as well. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. His mighty Cobblers are 1-0 up at half-time against Rotherham. All sorts of games going on in the EFL. They will be covering that on Thursday. Don't you worry. United. Fantastic fate. Hope everybody is well. And the wonderful Shah has popped in as well because Rochdale are live at the minute against Southend. So it's all going on. We have people around the country watching football. That's what the Absolute Football Podcast is all about. And what it certainly is all about, we'll kick things off. It's certainly all about this game. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. Arsenal unbeaten at home all season on a title charge. Manchester United beat Manchester City last week. What could they do against Arsenal? Grimmy, what could they do against Arsenal?
Only went and bloody won it, Sam. That's what they did.
Bloody won it.
Come on. Yes. Fantastic result. And do you know what makes it even sweeter? When they put the stat up when Arsenal scored the first goal and it said, Arsenal, 24 games, scored the first goal. 24 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Not today, sir. That has changed on game 25. Get up there. Yeah, what a great day. What a fantastic game of football. I mean, if it had been 3-2 the other way, I'm not sure I would have felt so elated at the game of football. But yeah, it was fantastic. So much to get into with this game. But yeah, what a day. What a day, Sam.
What a day indeed. As you said, Arsenal with that phenomenal record having scored first, you know, the run at the Emirates. If we're honest about the game, the first 20 minutes, they were in control, no doubt about it. Arsenal in control without creating too much, but it was that kind of game that United just got into it and Arsenal, of course, scored first. And at that point, I'm thinking, if this was a Manchester City on the height of their powers, a Liverpool on the height of their powers, etc., this could get away from us pretty quickly. They'll manage this game or whatever. And they kind of went jelly legs. They went jelly legs and really struggled and started to make all sorts of errors. And then straight away, Manchester United are in a couple of times and got away with it. And then and Bruno saw on goal, pass back from Zubimendi, and the whole atmosphere changed, didn't it, Grimmy?
Yeah, it's exactly like you said about the first 20 minutes. They really got a few key chances they should have probably put away. And then once we sort of got, there was a couple of chances before the Embremo goal that we probably should have got on target. There was like, I think there was a Bruno drive, which was like, should have hit the target, but he pinged it about 10 yards wide. And then there was another one where the defender just got a tackle in just in the last second, which was a brilliant challenge to nick the ball away from Bruno to get a proper shot away. And then Embremo got that one-on-one and put it away thanks to that clanger from Zubimendi, like you say. And yeah, from there, we were in the game, really. I think we matched them pretty well up until that point, or after that point, I should say, of them getting that first goal. And that's kind of the most pleasing thing, is that we took what we did against City in terms of the energy, performance, and effort, and we took it to Arsenal. And second half wise, it was pretty even, but I think we were well worth the win, to be honest. I don't think it's a case of we walked out there having absolutely nicked it off them like we've done in many a time in the past. I think it's something where we've actually matched Arsenal, which is not an easy thing to do at the Emirates.
Not at all, and they certainly look a different side, I think, anyway. They're so much more compact when we're defending. Do you know what I mean? The gaps have disappeared. The roving areas that people used to take holidays in have closed down. And then when we get the ball, there is certainly that kind of that pure instinct and aggression when they're going forward. The little one-touch plays are back, and they just seem to be playing with a freedom, and which quite often you do get when a manager's left, to be fair. But they certainly seem to have come together pretty quickly under Carrick. And the 2 goals we scored, Grimmy, they weren't half bad, were they? I mean, I think we've already spotted in the chat we've got a Ballon Dorgu, and I also heard about a Dorgy Best. I heard the
Dorgy Best. Yeah, I saw that the other day. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, to be fair, it's similar to like Ahmad breaking into the first team, sort of post Ten Hag with Amorim. Dorgu's kind of having that moment now where he's kind of finding his own and kind of stepping into his own, really. It's a shame he's obviously done his hamstring and he's going to be out probably till April now. But if he can continue that vein when he comes back, he could really be a significant player for us in the next few seasons, I think. But yeah, just A, the bravery to take that shot on from where he was, but B, also to have the 1-2 link-up play with Bruno, which, to be fair, I don't think anyone would have imagined him being able to do that at the start of the season, much less pull off the shot like he did. Yeah, it was incredible. It was, yeah. I jumped out my seat when that goal went in, and I'm usually quite stoic when it comes to watching goals go in. So, yeah, that was certainly a brilliant effort from the kid.
And it's the one that you love to see as well. It's the underside of the crossbar. Ant will love this reference. The Tony Yeboah, as it used to be known, in the Premier League Classic.
Oh.
Boom, 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 boom. It just gets that extra sort of pinball bounce, and it's almost like that extra bit on top of the cake for it. It was a phenomenal hit, and he's only 21, Grimmy, when I was looking into it. Obviously, so sad that he's sort of out for a period. You can really see the confidence in his game now. He's kind of been moved forward, and I like him kind of in that because he goes roaming a little bit, and he does his defensive job fairly well as well. So sad he's out for a while though.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's obviously. I think he'll probably get back in the team pretty quickly when he comes back. I think Carrick obviously likes him for a reason. I think it is that direct approach that he seems to have when he has the ball. He's not afraid to just run at people and take them on. I think that's what we like on the right-hand side with Ahmad as well, is that he will just have a go at people. He's not going to do an Anthony where he maybe spins around like a fidget spinner a million times and then passes it backwards or runs backwards away from a defender. But he's got the pace to take people on as well. So, yeah, I think if he continues on this vein, like I said before, he'll become some player. And again, left wing back obviously wasn't his position, but maybe it is a little bit. Not necessarily he's going to be a Gareth Bale quality type player. I'm not saying that, but it looks like it's going to be that sort of thing of he's been played in the wrong position early on, and maybe he's found the right place being a bit further up the pitch.
And it gives so many options amongst the talent that's already there, and sort of in Bumo that we've got. And so we'll sort of finish off on the United side of things. We will look at Arsenal, but obviously Arsenal got back into the game with a set piece. Of course, it was a set piece. We knew there'd be a set piece at some point, and that was kind of
an army of wall of men in front of the goalkeeper trying to punch it, and then a scramble, which is just typical of Arsenal at the minute. But
I did enjoy when I saw the replay after we'd won, of course, not at the time because I wasn't enjoying much when they'd equalised there. But I can't remember who it was, ran straight into the post. One of the Arsenal players was trying to get out of the way of Declan Rice and literally hit first into the back post when that went in. And it looked like that then got the stadium up. They sort of fancied it, but again gave United a bit of space, a quick transition. Again, some of the subtle things that Bruno does. This is what's been so frustrating. Some of the critiques that have been over him the past few years. He's so clever, and he could have played a very simple pass over the top into the corner, someone to run at, but he didn't. Quick turn and a move, and suddenly Cunha's away, and then Cunha hits one, Grimmy, and it's the sort of moment that we've been waiting for. Probably since we signed him. We knew it's in the locker. We've not seen as much of those moments, but definitely his biggest moment so far on the United shirt.
Yeah, and I just love the little jig of the celebration as well, just giving it some in front of the fans. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'll be honest. I've been walking around the house on Monday, and just every few steps, it was just a little jig, just to celebrate the moment, But yeah, no, it was a fantastic moment. I think ever since Mbeumo's gone, or went to AFCON, I should say, I think Cunha obviously stepped up a little bit and kind of looked a little bit more like the player we expected. But then these past 2 weeks when he's come off the bench, he's obviously came in with a bit more energy, a bit more effort, a bit more spark in him, shall we say. I know he didn't necessarily get a goal last week or anything like that, but you could see he was pinging around trying to chase after the ball and really harassing the City players. And then he came up with a bit of quality, which we expected a bit more from him probably up until this point in the season. But again, if he keeps doing things like that, and with Dorgu probably being out now, we're probably going to see a lot more of him in the first team, and he's probably not going to be coming off the bench that much more whilst Dorgu's out, I think.
Yeah, I think it probably matches up with probably the matchups against City and Arsenal as well. We're sort of having to be careful, particularly on that side with Saka and wanting to have that defensive base where probably Cunha at Old Trafford, when you're going to be playing against someone a bit deeper, would make kind of sense anyway. So really excited to see how that's going to play out. But yeah, it's Manchester United 2 wins off the bounce since Michael Carrick's. It took Ruben Amorim 13 months for 2 wins in a row, and Michael Carrick straight on it after 2 games. So we'll see how it goes, because obviously these are the highs, and now they've got some fixtures to see what comes up. But we don't want to be suggesting about a certain man's haircut just yet. But let's see where this can lead.
We're just quietly checking the charge on the strimmer just to see if it's got enough, or if we need to charge
just in case.
That's all we're doing at the minute.
In case it may be used.
It's just a quick check, and that's it.
This is it, and it sees United into the top 4, which is ultimately what the kind of goal is for this season.
Thanks.
12 points off the top, Grimmy. 12 points off the top.
All right, steady. Let's not talk about title charge just yet, okay? Like Arsenal haven't totally fallen off the cliff yet.
This is it. We'll deal with the streamers first, and then we'll see where it goes on from there. But I'll come to the rest of the panel on the Arsenal side of things. So I mean, and I'll come to you first. And how surprised are you by kind of the way Arsenal sort of looked a bit very nervy and kind of, I wouldn't say throw the game away, but they had it at 20 minutes in a comfortable position, and then just made error after error and tension. Is that how, because they want it so bad?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's very un-Arsenal, wasn't it? Like, considering what you've seen this season, to take the lead, and as Grimmy said before, it's pretty much you expect them to win the game then. And it was strange because there was a lot of errors. It was an error-strewn performance from them, and I think a little bit of nerves are creeping in. The fact that obviously they've not done it before for a long time, anyway, especially under Arteta, and he's under a lot of pressure, and he's under so much pressure. He's got to win something this season, and I still think they're the best side in the league. But I'm saying that, I said about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I still think Man City will win it, and I don't know why. I just think City will come with his run. But I think with what we see last week with City being absolutely terrible, United comfortably beating them, and then United then, it's not just a fluke result this, because United deserved it. United were excellent, and Arsenal were just poor. Big couple of weeks come up for them, and I don't know. I honestly think they may need another striker. I'm not sure the Gyökeres experiment's working. And what's surprising us as well is like they needed it because obviously Calafiore was out. He seemed to have lost a lot of trust in Lewis Skelly. And then obviously is it Nwaneri? He's gone out on loan. So all of these like young English players who he was so excited about last season, he isn't playing them. So it's like, what's going on? But well, yeah, cracking win, like I said, United deserved it, and fair play to them, man.
It is interesting, isn't it? I say how he's dealing with that squad, because I mean he had that quadruple change that he made, to try and sort of throw stuff on. We had Eze, Marino, they had Madueke came on as well, Gyökeres came on too, to try and change things up, and it just. I thought they were very different players what they had, but they still sort of had that same kind of energy when they came on. It wasn't an awful lot different. And the stat that surprised me after the game was that they're like 17th in the league for open play goals, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, it shows how good they are at set pieces, but also how reliant they are on set pieces, because they're just not scoring, and they just didn't look like they were going to break United down or kind of had the intensity to kind of do it. Heather, with Arsenal, do you think this is just a blip? As Ant said, still been, to be fair, probably the best team we've seen in the Premier League this year. Do you think they'll get straight back on it, or is this the start of a jelly wobble?
It's the start of them being bottle jobs again. I don't know. I mean, my dad's an Arsenal fan. And I was actually visiting him while the match was on, and I was like, "Oh, look, you've got one back." Oh, no. And he said, they are doing really well, but history would tell you that they do so well, and then at some point they just drop off. And it seemed mad that they've brought this striker in, which they were saying was the problem last year, and they're not starting him.
Yeah,
so I know the goals are coming from all over the pitch, like Declan Rice and Saka and all that sort of thing, but it just seems like something's not quite right.
They don't play to his strengths, though, do they?
No.
He is a striker who, he breaks the lines, he can get in really good positions, and he's a hell of a finisher. And they don't play to that style. They really don't. He'd have been far better off going somewhere like United, to be honest. Obviously, you've got Sesko and all that, but he would have been an ideal sign for United. But they just don't play to his style. It's just not suited to it.
No, he's
that's why he scores. It's why he scores a lot of goals in Europe when they play in Europe. He seems to score a lot of goals in Champions League because he suits that style a little bit more. But when they play domestically in England, he just doesn't seem. They do not accommodate him very well. I think he's a cracking striker, but like I say, it's just
They just
strikers are quite hard to come by, aren't they?
Well, this is it, and I find that they recycle it so much, and it's kind of its back. It's for a striker to kind of know when the ball's coming in or know when it's coming in. It's like, no, it's gone back. No, it's coming in. And actually their goal came from the first time they just put it in the box. Nketiah just stuck it in the box, and it failed to Saka in a moment they did it, but they didn't do that often. So for someone like Gyökeres to get in those positions, they're just. There was the one right at the end where he was offside, and he was never going to score from where he was because it was a tight angle. But I just didn't know what he was trying to do with it either. It was almost like a sense of panic too. I've got my moment. I've got to take it. And I don't think, from an Arsenal perspective, actually, Gabriel Jesus playing quite well in the Champions League was great to have him there for that in the Champions League. But you've got that and Havertz coming back. I think it gives them a headache and a problem they necessarily don't need, because then it piles more pressure on Gyökeres. I know they're all talking about it's the team, but they all want to lead the line, and if Gyökeres isn't getting the chances and not scoring, does someone like Havertz or Marino or someone like that offer you something else?
Their best striker is Marino, and he's a midfielder.
Well, our best striker until recently was Semenyo, and he's a winger, so...
Wait, City's best striker at the minute, isn't he? Because a certain Norwegian's gone off the boil, hasn't he?
It's a terrible shame.
We'll get into that later on, but I triple captain at the weekend.
I don't think you were the only one, to be fair.
I think Dave Cookson said, I heard none of Arsenal have scored for ages and own goals a second lead to scorer. And Arsenal have Leeds away next, so that will be interesting. It will be interesting to see, because that'll be a kennel of noise for sure.
Leeds is obviously not the greatest team, but they've been doing better recently. And Elland Road is not a easy place to go. It's that their fans can turn the game.
Can I just quickly say as well, thank you very much to Manchester United for making Sunderland the only unbeaten home side in the league this season. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Little old Sunderland there. There's only two in the entirety of England, us and Bromley. Bet you would have got good money on that at the start of the season,
who are currently winning 1-0 at home at the moment. So.
Go on, Bromley.
There you go. Keeping that.
They did really well
going.
last year in the FA Cup, didn't they, Bromley?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. They're having a.
I've just checked Sunderland's fixture list. They're at home to Burnley next Monday.
Oh, we'll get
don't let that be the one. Dan will never let you hear the end of it.
We have. We've got Burnley coming up, so don't worry. We can have a little look at them. Simon says if Amorim had been allowed to tank to United, then I think we'd be seeing the best of him. Yeah, it is damn so. I think he would probably fit us in playing better. But hey, we've got Šeško, they've got Gyökeres. That is what it is. But yeah, overall for Arsenal, big moments coming up. For Manchester United, hopeful moments, Grimmy. We'll see what the next few weeks. Fulham next week, and then who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But if we get, I just really hope we don't get a naff performance against Fulham. We're like, oh, here we go again.
This is the thing. I think it's as good as the past 2 weekends have been, and I'll forever cherish them forevermore because God knows if this will continue. I do think that the biggest sign of whether or not there is a change in the air, or if Carrick does have something going here, will be that Fulham game, because they're obviously going to play a totally different style. They're going to be very defensive. We're going to have to break them down rather than the other way around. So this is kind of the one where if we get a win against Fulham and it's sort of a similar sort of performance where we do look like a team again and we are performing as we think we should be with the quality of players we've got in there, then I might just start believing at that point.
We can believe. Belief is all we need, Grimmy. Belief is all we need.
It's all we need.
It's all we need. But a team that have plenty of belief now, Aston Villa are back in the title race. Let's have some of that. Aston Villa. 2-0 victory. 2-0 victory at St James's Park. I think I was getting annoyed on Sunday because Gary Neville kept talking about, but this, City are only 4 points beyond. I'm like, and Villa, come on, let's drag them into it. I mean, a 2-0 win at St James's Park is an excellent result for them, man, and puts them right back on track, and I think deserved it as well.
Oh, 100%. They were completely comfortable, completely controlled the game. It was just a matter of when. And you know what, with Villa, and you're right there. Again, it's like this big club bias that like the media have got, City are catching up. Yeah, so Villa. Villa are in the title. Villa are well in this title race. Obviously made a couple of signings today. They've got Douglas Costa. That's him, Douglas Luiz. I got him back, and which is a good signing. And they've got Tammy Abraham, who's going to score goals. Gives Ollie Watkins a little bit of competition, but Ollie Watkins has started to find a battle in there. They still manage. I mean, they'll have a goal of the season competition by themselves, won't they? The amount of goals they've scored from outside the box. Another absolute smashing goal from Brendan. It was a fantastic goal. And Newcastle just didn't look at the races at all. I don't know. It's probably because Bruno Guimaraes was injured and Joe Linton went off injured. So hopefully they're out for a few weeks. When do we play them? 18th of March. Hopefully they're out for 2 months. But I think the problem is with Newcastle, and I think it was a mistake on their behalf, is that they've went for all four. They've wanted to do well in all four competitions this season, and they haven't got the squad. They probably should have just went, we've won the League Cup, we've won that, everyone thinks we're great again, and it's a Mickey Mouse Cup anyway, but never mind. And they've obviously got the Champions League, so they're playing twice every week most of the time. And their record when they've been playing Champions League is very, very poor. So, going up against the side, Villa, I don't think Villa played like a full strength side in their Europa League game, and it just showed. And Villa were excellent. Emi Martinez making an absolute worldy save though from Lewis Miley in the first half to keep it 1-0, and yeah, Villa just seen it out really well. So fair play to them. And Eddie Howe under pressure again at Newcastle, it seems, if you believe social media. So how fickle a football fan is, eh?
No. It's only 2 weeks ago they were talking about the United job, and then all of a sudden Newcastle fans want a shot of him. But
Newport are down to 10 men. Breaking news.
It's not over for Aki. It's not over for Aki. But I mean, Newcastle have gone into that off the back of say three wins and then that disappointing draw against kind of Wolves. So they picked up a little bit. But I saw a stat that they still haven't won a Premier League game without Bruno Guimaraes since his debut. Now, granted, he's played in most of those games, but that just shows how important he is, and he has been this season. If they've got a goal, it tended to be Bruno Guimaraes has been involved. Just haven't got that. I look at that team now, and I just think, who's scoring the goals? Like, do you know what I mean? Gordon hasn't scored an open play goal in over a year. Like, Voltemada's hit and miss. Bisser's not right quite yet, is he? And Alanga, they don't even want to know. Harvey Barnes coming off the bench might do you something, but it's not the threat that they've been.
Can I have a slight rant, even though I don't have many now, because I'm a happy man. But, you know, what on Friday, and I listened to a few of the because I was off and I was being boring. I was in a few of the press conferences, and Eddie Howe had a pop at PSR again, and I'm not having it. Like, I'm not having that, because they've spent this season 55 million quid on Anthony Alanga, who hasn't worked. They've spent God knows how much they spent on Walter Mard. I think it was like 67 million quid. Who started his career there very well, but has quickly been found out because he's not a very good footballer. He's a good finisher, but he's not a very good footballer. They signed Johan Wissa, who's a crock, right, for a lot of money. How is that PSR's fault that they're not doing very well? That's not their fault. That's not PSR's fault. That's his fault for A, signing them in the first place, and B, not being able to play them properly. You know what I mean? It's just completely wrong. Like, you cannot blame PSR for that, for Newcastle not doing very well. They've spent a fortune.
And it's more a case of the fact that they spent a fortune, and because the Isak situation went on so late, it left it so late in the window. I mean, they were chucking bids around crazily. Remember, I think there was Jürgen Strand Larsen they were chucking bids at last minute. There was no kind of thought process to it. Seemed it was like, we have to get someone. We have to get someone quick, because obviously they planned on Ekitike, and Liverpool stepped in before that happened. And then the Isak thing dragged on the whole summer. So they had a lot of money to spend in a very short window, and just went kind of boom, boom, boom. And as you said, that's not PSR. That's just, that's been panic because of the situation with Isak that seemed to turn out. So, yeah, it's not looking. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still in the mix of sort of Europe, as you said. Like, they've got the Champions League, and they've almost qualified for the next stage, I think. So they've got,
they've got an easy game tomorrow night away to PSG. Like, it might end up being a qualifier, but even then, there's an extra. Is it 2 games in the qualifiers? It is, isn't it? They play 2 legs.
Yeah.
So that could be an extra 2 games for them, and it's just, I think, just all the games are catching up with them. That's why, obviously they're picking up injuries. Obviously, Fabian Schär's out for a long time. He hurt his ankle, and I think, Joe Linton's out for a few weeks. Wissa's been, in and out, hasn't he, with fitness and stuff. Harvey Barnes has never wanted to stay fit all season, and I think they've got the Livramento hurt his knee, didn't he? So he's out for a few weeks as well. So it's all catching up with him, and it's just the fact he's played like his best team in nearly every game. It's like, you got to give the depth a chance. You know what I mean? And it's
and that's not like Eddie at all, because
no.
When he was at Bournemouth, if we had a cup match, he generally put the kids out, or he wasn't really that bothered about it. So
yeah, it's
strange. There's Graham just put on there. Look, the 3 games: PSG, Liverpool away, and then City win the Carabao Cup. And that game's pretty much done, isn't it? Because 2-0 away from home. I cannot see City throwing that away. And then Liverpool away in the league's a tough one as well. And their away form's shocking. So it's it's worrying times. I don't think they'll qualify for Europe. I've got to be honest. I think it's just Simon. We've got us to come though, so I'm getting it out the way. But yeah, I mean, like I say, it's I don't think they'll qualify for it. They're just too inconsistent. You can't qualify for Europe and have that bad of a away form. The home form's keeping them in it, and now obviously they've got some difficult games coming up, which you kind of see them picking many points. So.
Yeah, it's a tough run for them, and looking troubling, looking difficult. You say Grimash is out, Joelinton limping off. That's a lot of, they're going to have to give the Carabao Cup a go. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to be able to just sort of sack that in, so he's going to have to give it a go, which means you're going to need something.
Do you know what, Sam? If I was him, I wouldn't give it a go. I would just say, look, that's done. We'll hire some of the kids out, and I might get a stuffing, but who cares? You know what I mean? Surely their number one priority this season was getting Champions League again. Surely. The amount of money that I spent. Yes, I know they lost Isaac, right? But it was always going to happen at some point. They were going to lose Isaac. And at some point, surely they've went, well, top four is a must, especially with the league, the way the league is. And Man United are meant to be having, the worst season ever in a fourth in the table. You know what I mean? Like, and how inconsistent Man United been. And you look at like Spurs struggling, Chelsea struggling. There's just so many teams who can now make that European bid, and I just don't see them. I don't see them doing it. And I think if they don't finish in Europe, they might say, well, maybe Eddie Howe's took us as far as they can. I don't know.
Yeah. It could be interesting. I'm a dreamer, and I would go for the second leg all day. Like if we were 5-0 down, I'd be like, you only need one. Mountains are there to be climbed, on it. Ole Solskjaer said, "Going in Paris Saint-Germain once upon a time." But I
think a lot will go on, Sam. What happens tomorrow night? If they get a result at PSG and they do qualify, then I think he's got that kind of option to do it. But if you've got a qualifying
Liverpool away
game
as well. I mean, Liverpool haven't been playing well. Liverpool haven't won this year. This isn't a top of the range Liverpool. They could, and they gave him hell at St James's. Liverpool away is a possibility they could get something out as well.
They are a completely different team away from home, though. Completely, they couldn't beat Wolves. You know what I mean? And I don't think they had a shot on target against Wolves, did they? It was like a poor game, but I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't want to feel sorry for them.
Who knows? We shall see. But Grimmy for Aston Villa. I mean, obviously, a very good win for them. They're back in the charge. They've had some disappointing injuries as well. Kamara's out for a long time. Tielemans has gone off now as well, which is a big miss. I love Yuri Tielemans. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves sometimes. I think he's an excellent player. But as I alluded to, they brought in Douglas Luiz is in, Tammy Abraham's in. They did this last January. I like the fact that they said, no, we've got something to play for here. So we're gonna, with the Champions League it was last year. So we're gonna strengthen the squad. We're gonna back Unai Emery with what we've got. Tammy Abraham knows the club, obviously when he was in the Championship with them years ago, but we haven't seen him for a few years in the Premier League. So it'll be exciting to see. And Douglas Luiz, was excellent for them when he was there before. So is there a possibility that for you with Villa, do you think they're genuinely in that title hunt? Could it happen?
Yeah, it can. Whether it will or not, I'm not entirely sure. When we last spoke on this, I think it might have been after the Arsenal game when they won last minute away at home. Sorry, and then everyone started questioning whether Villa could actually do it. I still feel the same way as I did back then, which is that I think Europe is what's going to hinder them. I think because it's Emery's competition. Obviously, we all call it the Emery Cup for a reason. And I think that he will see the value in getting a trophy to Villa. And I think if he's going to have to pick between the Europa League or the Premier League, I think he's more likely to go to Europa League because it's more realistic. Like, I feel like the Europa League is Villa's to win. I don't feel like there's many teams that are going to go up against Villa where you think, oh, it's not like they're going to face like we did like a Barcelona en route or something like that. I think Villa are probably the favourites and massive favourites for that competition for a reason. And whilst Arsenal and City have had a bit of a wobble, I still expect them to maybe wake up and go on a run in the next couple of games and probably stretch that advantage. But then you've seen Villa drop some points like they did at home to Everton, like totally out of the blue. So I do think they're in the race. I just wonder if like we're saying about Newcastle with all the games and the competitions, if that maybe starts to play a part especially when you've got Tielemans and co, like you say, Sam, being out for potentially a long period of time as well. I think that'll hurt them. But bringing Louise back and Abraham hopefully gives them a bit of a refresh, similar to what Rashford and Asensio did this time last year.
And they were, I was just saying, Newcastle were a poor side on the road. Villa were an excellent side on the road. They've taken more points away from them than anybody else this season. Very, very good performers on the road. And they've got...
They would have been surprised to win there, though, because I think that's the first time in like 10 years or something.
Yeah, you're right. They had a really poor record at St James's Park. So things like that, where you start to get, monkeys off your back with grounds you don't usually win at, or the confidence can kind of build. And Simon says there about, he wondered for a while if Emery might have won more at Arsenal than Arteta currently has. I think if Emery had been the man not straight away after Wenger, if it was almost the other way around, and you had Arteta for a season and a half, and then Emery took on that side and that kind of project to build, then it'd be really impressive, because I mean his resume, as well as 300 Europa Leagues, is looking good. And say if he gets Villa into the Champions League again, that's just from where Villa were. Let's not forget, not that long ago, they come up from the Championship, and they were Jack Grealish basically almost single-handedly got them up to the Premier League not that long ago, and they've really established themselves again. So.
And there were a dodgy goal line technology call from getting relegated, weren't there, in COVID season?
Yeah, don't want to hear about that, thank you. That got us relegated, so
I am sorry.
I'm playing rubbishly, so
there you go. But you came back, Heather, and you came back stronger, because look where we're at now. The Bournemouth. I'm sure that Bournemouth-Liverpool fixture years ago, with the many goals, should we say, from the Liverpool side of things, it must make stuff like today even sweeter. Where Bournemouth 3, Liverpool 2, last-minute winner. What were the limbs like, first of all, at the the Vitality?
Incredible. I don't know how I have a voice left, to be honest, but. The funniest thing was the post-match interviews. Van Dijk was basically crying, even though all 3 goals were his fault. The last one, he said, well, that one shouldn't have stood because I got tripped over and got blocked. Yes, you did, by one of your own players.
Love that.
And then Arne Slot was going on about the wind, as if the wind only affects Liverpool, it doesn't affect Bournemouth. So it was just full of excuses, and it was hilarious. And it was all the sweeter because I think it was 19 years to the day. Basically, we were about to go out of the Football League, and there was a collection at the Winter Gardens, and all the fans were putting money in to basically keep the club going. And somebody put this up on Twitter that is literally 19 years to the day, and here we are beating Liverpool at home. So
that's incredible timing to do that as well. Off the back of that kind of full swing. And as you said, we'll come on to Liverpool's lazy defending in a minute. But for Bournemouth, say at that point, to get a victory like that over Liverpool, particularly post Semenyo as well, I suppose, to show that the squad is still quality enough. There's still for a moment for someone like Adley, who's maybe not kind of had his moments in the sun for Bournemouth yet. How important is that?
So important, and it just shows like the fighting spirit, because those guys are absolutely knackered. I mean, we did play a different way, because normally they go full out for the first half, and then by about 60 minutes you can just tell they're all like wanting to come off. But we had nobody to bring on. We had 3 kids on the bench that one of them's never played any Premier League minutes at all, and the others have just played like maybe 4 or 5 minutes. So I think he changed the game plan a bit, and he was like, no, just sort of let them have the ball. And they carried on, and you could just see how much it meant to them at the end. Iriola came on and just started hugging random fans, and it was craziness. But I loved it.
That's crazy. It was an amazing moment, and it was raining again every time I was born.
It was, yeah.
Absolutely is. But what a phenomenal result, and say to get that victory, and then obviously in the transfer market as well, been a bit busy as well this week. Got a new striker from Brazil who I understand you've slapped a £100 million release clause on as well. So the scouting department like the look of this kid.
We've learned our lesson.
I don't blame you. So what have you heard about this young kid from Brazil?
Well, watching the like all the reels and stuff on YouTube, he looks absolutely incredible for 19. I'm really excited to see him play in person. But yeah, all of the bits that Bournemouth have put out, they've just got so many fans on there. Some of them are being like a bit rude if you translate it, like you've taken our best person away from us. And there was this whole thing last week of, oh, Bournemouth aren't going to pay enough, we're going to try this, and it was all like rubbish just to try and get the most amount of money for him. But they definitely wanted to keep him for the rest of the season, but they didn't. So
it will be great in the Premier League, and pretty soon by the looks of it. So I think I also saw as well that you might be getting, if Jimenez plays another couple of games, you have to sign him permanently as well, isn't it? I think. Well,
it's not have to. It's we want to start him. But I think he had to play. He either had to start or play at least 45 minutes in 18 games, and he's done 16. So I think we're going to sign him for like 19 million or something.
Because there's a few clauses like that. I think Harvey Elliott had one with Aston Villa. That's why they're not seeing any of him, because they're not wanting to buy.
Set them back, haven't they?
Oh yeah.
But he's crazy good. He really. I don't think we'll hold on to him for very long. He's amazing.
Yeah, doing very good, and I'd say fantastic win for Bournemouth. We'll come to you, Ant, I suppose, on Liverpool to give us sort of I suppose, rather than Grimmy's perspective, but like on the what did you think of the defending? Van Dijk's in particular. It was, I mean, I know they've got some defensive issues and sort of out, but some of it was a bit bizarre for me. Almost just the body language doesn't seem right.
Do you remember at the start of the podcast when you said you need a back four? And you brought us three in. I reckon us as a back four could have defended better than what Liverpool did. Because that was horrendous. You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to take anything away from Bournemouth. Again, I think Bournemouth deserved it. But Christ, I mean, if you're honest looking at that and you're thinking, hang on, we're a transfer window here, I need 4 defenders. Because that's how I would. How on earth he's entertaining the fact that he wants to get rid of Andy Robertson. And he's still starting Kirkus. Kirkus just isn't doing it this season for me, for Liverpool. He just seems so out of place.
Kirk has got hooked at half time because basically we obviously know what he's like. And our lads just said to Jimenez, wind him up. He's so easy to wind up. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I know Joe Gomez went off, didn't he? Wasn't Endo playing centre half at one point? Which is fair enough. I mean, that's probably not gonna end well. But I mean, the fact they got themselves back into the game, like I say, probably undeservedly, and then concede a goal like that, which is, I mean, what Van Dijk's doing, I really don't know. And I mean, Heather pointed out brilliantly the fact he was whinging on about it, it was his own play tripping him up. So you know, it's crazy. It's crazy for them. And you know, again, another team where you're thinking the way this league is, surely they should be aiming top 4, and it doesn't look likely at the moment. I wouldn't. We've got them in a few weeks' time. No, my fans just beaten them. You know, obviously we'll get an out game a bit later, but you know, obviously we'll have to improve. But we've got them soon. If they defend like that against you know, not taking anything away from Bournemouth, but against the sides who they're in and around, they're going to lose. They're going to lose every game. So yeah, it's a strange one. And Slot again, it's like this is the pressure back on Slot. You would probably say so. Like you said before, they haven't won this year. There are a lot of draws, haven't they? So, big game for them Saturday against Newcastle. Really big game. They need to start picking up some points and get, they need Ekatike firing again. And yeah, I mean, if they didn't have Szoboszlai in the team at the minute, they'd be really struggles. He's to be fair, he is playing really well, and I think Wirtz is coming into a little bit of form.
Yeah,
but it's probably about time. But Szoboszlai,
he was quite dreadful.
Yeah. Just quite. Not quite dreadful enough, but just
well, in the game that I saw him playing in, he was quite dreadful.
Yeah. But they've got so many, like David just put on there, like so many players where you think their time's over at Liverpool. Like Kier's hasn't quite, they've never really played him over the, but like like Zavendo and like that. And then Van Dijk's looking his age, and Van Dijk's legs are obviously gone. But it's going to be. It would be interesting next year. I think it'll be like a really big kind of ingoings and outgoings at Liverpool. Probably a bit of a transformation, so that'll be interesting. But at least Salah can't play him. The fact he's not playing because he played, didn't he? So he can't whinge on about that anymore. But we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, it was a strange defensive performance. You said Szoboszlai's been by far for me their best player. But I mean, I think they were obviously trying to nurse Ekatike back because he played in midweek, and they played Gakpo up front. I don't think that's gonna do it for them. I know they're frustrated. I think with his with a number of players' performances, because it's one of those where you look at a squad and they should be doing more. The sum of that part should be doing more, and that's where the pressure's coming to Slot, because they should be. He won the title last year, fantastic achievement, amazing. No one will be able to take that away from them. But you now look at what they've got here and the money that was spent and all the rest of it. All that's done is apply pressure in a season where it's not like. It's almost like Arsenal were falling towards the title a little. Whoever wins it, you almost feel it's going to be. It's not like you've had someone who's storming who are miles ahead, a bit like Liverpool kind of did last season. It's like it's there for they should be in amongst it. There's no reason why they shouldn't be in amongst it, and it's just it's crazy. And just for me, watching some of the defenders, you said that Van Dijk third goal, but I thought the first one, which came over him, and he said afterwards, the wind came off of it. Well, the wind came off of it, but what stopped you from blocking the cross? What stopped you from then carrying on your action and getting it, being intense enough? And he was kind of like, he had like a grin on his face as it was kind of like doing it, thinking, just go out. And it's that complacency of defending, I think. And also, he's not got a partner alongside him. Do you know what I mean? Kanate's not been available when he has. He's not been great in that back four. But it's just symptomatic of everything that seems to be at Liverpool at the back. So, as David said, they lost that young lad, sadly. But
what are they expecting, though, in the winter? It's cold, it's windy, it's wet. You know what I mean? Yeah. These players have been.
It's windy. It's windy on the coast.
Exactly. Yeah, Van Dijk's been in England so long. He's got to expect he's going down to a smaller stadium on the coast. Of course, it's going to be bloody windy. You know what I mean? Like, what a stupid excuse that is.
What a shocker! And so, Grim, you've been sitting there quietly and patiently, ready to have your say on what's happening with Liverpool. Is Slot genuinely under pressure? Is there a world that you could see that Liverpool would pull the trigger?
Yeah, I think he's under pressure. I think if they go on a few more games without a win and the Champions League becomes a bit of a stretch for them to get into, I think his head will roll potentially. Do I think that's going to happen? Well, if we look at the fixtures in terms of what Liverpool have got coming up, they've got a Newcastle side that doesn't play well away. They've then got City the weekend after, and then they've got to take on an unbeaten home team in Sunderland after that. So the next 3 games don't look pretty for them after the Newcastle game. I expect them to win it against Newcastle because Newcastle, like I say, and Ants pointed out, have been awful away from home this season. And if they get a win there, then really it's doomsday for Liverpool at that point. But yeah, I think there could be some serious pressure on him by the time we get to sort of that middle of February, end of February period, when they've obviously got the Champions League as well to deal with. They haven't really got much of a defence left in terms of the centre backs, and then if Robertson goes, I just think that teams are going to have a go at them, home and away, and yeah, I think if it gets to a point where the Champions League is like 6, 7, 8 points gap, I think that's when Slot's position will get really uncomfortable. And I think, especially after the amount of money they spent in the summer as well, I just think that it'll become untenable. And when you've got Xavi Alonso sitting in the corner without a job now, and he'll have something to he'll want to go into another similar big job to what he's just been in at Madrid and have a point to prove. So, and Liverpool fans will love Alonso being back in the dugout for them. So that's what they'll be crying out for if it keeps going the way it is. So yeah, I do think Slot's under a lot of pressure.
Well, because they did want. There was a lot of clamouring for Alonso before. I think there's maybe some more questions after the sort of Madrid appointment, but I could see it being the sort of thing that would work at Liverpool potentially. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Slot moaning about the wind, as Graham says, he should have been at that Scottish game where the keeper took a goal kick and it went over the stand over the other side. Yeah, and Simon says yes, correct. He did play for Southampton, which is on the south coast. I'm aware. Yes, it definitely. I can confirm is on the south coast.
We were shouting scum at him all game, so maybe that's what put him off.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, that's it. You know, Bournemouth never forget. Never forget if you've been to Southampton. That's for sure. But so yeah, look, we'll see what happens with Slot, Liverpool. Big games coming up soon. But a good couple of wins for Bournemouth. You see, you're rising back up that table, Heather. It's looking more positive. But a man I'm having to turn to here with not many. To be fair, this is probably the first conversation we've had with a disappointing Sunderland loss all season. And considering it's the 27th of January, the perspective can't be, I suppose, too bad. But I guess, what did Sunderland not do right, and what did West Ham do better at the weekend?
I don't think Sunderland did anything right, to be totally honest with you. They got off the bus, which was probably good.
They made it.
That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, we had a decent start. Like Noah Siddiqui had a decent volley, well saved the early couple of minutes, but then we just didn't show up. And obviously, Granit Xhaka's got a little bit of an ankle knock, which is going to keep him out for a couple of weeks before he gets reassessed. So that doesn't sound too good. And what he did was he put Trey Hume in the middle, and Trey Hume was having to do that kind of work. And Trey Hume's a right back. So I don't think that worked at all. And I don't think that'll happen on Monday night against Burnley. I think we'll probably see Habib Diarra come back in. Yeah, listen, it is what it is. We're playing a side who are down there, have got something to play for. Picked up a good win against Spurs, obviously full of confidence. I think them scoring first was always key. And it's a poor goal. I think all three of the goals are poor. I know they've scored a worldie for the third, but I think all three goals are defendable. The first one, Ronaldo does not get close to Bowen, shows him the wrong side twice. He's done them once and went back and did him again. Surely you learn from that. And Ronaldo's been outstanding for us, but he got hauled off at half time. Like, he made 3 subs at half time, he got hauled off. Obviously, Crescencio Somerville, who's one of the smallest players in the league, managed to out-jump Nottingham earlier, 1-0. Then they get a penalty, which I think is probably a penalty. Trey tries to get his leg out of the way, catches. I think Skulls goes down a little bit too easy, but it is again, it's a penalty. They put that away, Jared Bowen, and then they do score a really nice goal. But I think Enzo the Fair's like too slow getting to him. And I think I mentioned Brendy's goal before for Villa. I expected Pope to save that one, and I've also expected Robin Rose maybe to save that. I think it's a good goal, don't get us wrong, but I think Robin Rose is a really, really good goalkeeper, and I think he probably, when he looks back at it, probably thinks he should have got a little bit close to it. But a good goal nonetheless, and then by that time the game was over. We scored a nice goal, to be fair. Brian Brobby again, who's on fire, and is a fantastic striker. So that's good to see. And yeah, it is what it is. Season begins or ends, none. We're just happy to be where we are. We're probably not going to get relegated. We're not going to hit Europe. We're going to finish in mid to low table, which again I'd take with a decent cup run. But we need to get Xhaka back, or we need to find out a way of playing without Xhaka, which doesn't involve Trey Hume playing in the middle of midfield. But, you know, onwards and upwards, mate. Onwards and upwards. And I do want to very quickly, because Dan Neil has gone out on loan to Ipswich today.
Yes, yeah.
And Dan Neil has now, since, because he's out of contract this summer, has played his last game for Sunderland. And I do want to pay a little bit of tribute. I'll probably do it again on Thursday, because obviously he got us out of the Championship, got us out of League One. But Dan Neil was made captain of Sunderland when we were in the mire. And he's a local lad, he's a Sunderland fan. And I just wish him all the best down at Ipswich. I really hope he gets them promoted. Him and Jack Clark will be, you know, tremendous for them. And if I may, can I read Luke O'Nine's tweet? Because I think Luke O'Nine today has pretty much epitomised what we're all thinking about Dan Neil and what Dan Neil has done for this football club. So it goes to Wembley. So basically, the referee's about to blow the final whistle at Wembley. Noise everywhere. Chaos waiting to erupt. Sunderland seconds from getting back to the Premier League. And in the tiny moment before it all explodes, when everything goes quiet in your own head, Dan Neil puts his arm around me and says, "Luke, lift it with me. It wouldn't feel right unless you're right next to me." And it goes on. It's like a lad who grew up dreaming of this club, who carried its weight when things weren't easy, who became the captain not by shouting, but by how he shows up every single day. He didn't have to say that. Nobody would have questioned it, but that's Dan Neil, ladies and gents. Humble in the biggest moment of his life, aware of the people beside him, grounded enough to share what he'd earned. That's leadership, that's character, and that's why this club is back where it belongs. And I can't say any more to that, because that is absolutely beautiful. And I'm getting choked up. And I do wish him all the best. And I just want to say on this podcast, thank you very, very much, Dan Neil, for what you've done to this football club. We will never, ever, ever forget. Thank you so much.
Very good. Superb tribute, mate. Superb tribute. And it's lovely when it's a player, do you know what I mean, that, as you said, has come through, has been there for the moments, has been there for everything, and can leave on a high and get that respect from the fans. So, as you said, it'll never be forgotten by Sunderland fans, for sure.
Well, we all wanted to be footballers. I wanted to play for Sunderland when I was young. So, when a Sunderland fan becomes a Sunderland player, but then becomes Sunderland captain, and then like what Luke O'Nine said there, then, and the biggest moment of his career, which would be lifting that playoff trophy to get back in the fact he's thinking of someone else. And that just sums him up. He's always been like that. And like I say, wherever he's gone to Ipswich, wherever he goes after that, because it's only a loan, wherever he goes after that, he'll be great, because he's a good player. And it's just so happens we've had to sign players because we needed to sign these players to stay up. And he's been unfortunate. He has been unfortunate because he's obviously not as good as the likes who we've got at the minute. And that's football. That's what happens. We're going to see players leave. But this is the first one where it has really made us quite sad. It really has. I've been sad all day seeing it. And we've known it's been coming for the last couple of weeks. But it has made us sad today thinking, it's one of our own. And he always will be. And like I say, it is just a bit of a sad moment, but it just shows how far we've come when that happens. So, just a lovely tribute from Luke O'Nine, and obviously just adding my words onto it. And, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I'm sure you will touch on Thursday, but a great signing from an Ipswich perspective, and consider their consideration where they're at. So, maybe more success for him, hopefully, at the end of the season. We'll see. Graham says we wanted to be a footballer. Unfortunately, I was too blind and too crap for that dream to become a reality. Graham, never give up on your dreams. Things can happen. Get those boots on. Come on. It's January transfer window. You've got 3 days. So, someone might come in. Grimmy, I'll come to you from a West Ham perspective, though. Starting to see a little bit of something about them. There's a bit of life that's kind of kicked in. That sort of Nuno's got. They're scoring goals. People like Somerville and that's starting to play, and obviously they're getting a little bit more out of Jared Bowen at the minute, which is kind of massive. Disappointing, I suppose, for them that other results didn't kind of go their way at the weekend, but they're starting to show a bit of fight, back-to-back wins. Can this continue? Can you see more from West Ham, or are they hitting the ceiling?
Yeah, I think we'll probably see a bit more of it as the season goes on. They've got a bit of a tough run coming up because they've got the likes of Chelsea, United, Bournemouth as well, and Liverpool coming up in the next sort of 5-6 games. So it's not going to be an easy run, but I still expect them to be in some of those games and give teams a bit of a challenge. Obviously, we know Chelsea defensively aren't necessarily the greatest at times, and who knows what United will turn up in that away game in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see that there's a bit of life in them. Whether it's enough to keep them up, only time will tell. Of course, Forest getting the result that they did will be a massive thing because again, the gap was down to 2 points. But yeah, like Simon says, where's it been all season? I think it's a major question that people have to ask. But Nuno seems to be finding the right tune out of them now, and yeah, maybe they will give some of these teams just above them a bit of a run for the money. But again, I just don't think they have enough quality to get enough points before the end of the season. I do think there is a very good chance they're still going to go down. Because I still think the teams above them will pick up points where you don't expect them to because of the way the league has been this season. Like, look at what Leeds did in that run that they had, and they've got a draw away to Everton last night, and it's like they're picking up points where you don't expect them to. Forest are now picking up wins when you didn't expect to. No one probably expected them to beat Brentford with the way Brentford have been playing,
especially down there, especially at Brentford,
especially at Brentford, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, like the problem is, I think West Ham have left it a little bit too late, and I think that unless they keep going
up the tail, up the
tail. But unless they do put like a serious run of form together, which we wouldn't expect, I just can't see them staying up at this point. Unfortunately, I do think it is too late.
I don't know, because it feels like they do this almost every year. Like they stay around like 17th, and then they'll have a little run and get themselves up to like safety and stay up, and then the next year they seem to do the same thing again. So
they do seem to find a way in past seasons, don't they? And it's, as you say, they're picking wins up which you didn't see of them, for a while. They were 3-0 up for the first time since July 2020 at half time. We're not seeing anything like that from West Ham.
All right, Sam, Jesus.
Just stick the dagger in there while we're at it.
Kick us while I'm down.
But Sunderland won the second half, Ant. So that's the.
That's it. And we won 4-3 on aggregate this season, so no one can take that away from us. But I agree with Grimmy. I've got to be honest. I don't see West Ham getting like either beat Spurs, but Spurs are just Spurs, aren't they? And I don't think that result had it been 1-0 West Ham against us, I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelid. The fact that they scored 3, but we were terrible. I just can't kind of say for go up. We were awful in that game, and I don't see other sides being as bad as what we were down there. So I think they need to pick the home form up for a start. And they were playing, when we played us, our away form's really gone off the boil. We haven't won in our last 7 now away from home. So we're like a different team at home than what we are away, which is what it is. It's promotion. You look at Leeds and teams like that who are exactly the same. But I just don't see them getting like beating a City, beating a Liverpool, beating a United. I don't think that'll happen. So whereas I could see Forest doing that and see Forest getting something from somewhere. The team I'd be most worried about, and David's put it in the chat there, is Crystal Palace. And I'm sure we'll get on them in a little bit, but they've been the one I'm most worried about rather than Forest. But or possibly Spurs that we're there playing.
Could you imagine?
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
It'd be hilarious. So, you won the Europa League last year, but you get relegated next year. See you later, Frank. There we go.
Yeah, we will be coming on.
Surely he'll get sacked before that happens.
I think if it keeps going the way it's going, I think it's sooner rather than later. I think, unfortunately, for
I'm amazed it hasn't happened already. I would have got rid of him like after the game on Saturday. I'd have got rid of him.
It's only the Champions League that's keeping him in. And every time they seem to be on the cusp, they then go and do something in the Champions League, and whether they're like, oh, do we not? But I mean, I get that Tottenham need to find a manager that they give time for, but the fans are just so turned on him and so what they're seeing, it's just nasty.
I've just looked at the next 4 league games, and they've got City, United, Newcastle, and Arsenal. If he's not gone by the end of that, he's either turned it around or they've just gone, you know what, we're just writing this season off and just we'll start again next year.
It's not easy after that either, because after Arsenal they go away to Fulham. Fulham's home record's really good. Then they'll have a massive clash with Palace, who presumably will be in there, and then they go to Anfield. So it's not like, and I haven't got confidence in Tottenham to be picking wins up.
Spurs Palace being a 6-point relegation battle. You didn't think that was going to be happening at the beginning of March, did you? No.
The league's just probably like weird this season, isn't it? It's like proper gone do laddie, but it's so exciting. There's excitement everywhere, isn't there? So
100%.
I mean, he would have gone had Burnley had Christian Romero not scored that goal. Surely he was gone. Surely, but yeah.
Just keeps him hanging on. So we have changed the graphic over because we are into Tottenham territory, and as we said, 2-2 against Burnley. It was a Desmond, of course. Simon says, "I'm all for wanting to further your career, but Thomas Frank should have stayed at Brentford." Well, the club and Frank had everything set up for him there, didn't they? And I can also understand him wanting to take that opportunity and to take that step, but it's not happening at the moment. Burnley 2, Tottenham 2. For Burnley, they just can't get that win, can they? I mean, they've had some really good kind of draws when you look at the fixtures. But when you're down at the bottom, when you need wins, and they just cannot get over the line against people. It seems it's so very, very close. They haven't had a win. I was going to say, we're about to go to our Scott Parker specialist, Heather. Why can't Burnley get over the line?
That's because if he sees them drawing, he'll chuck a load of defenders on to defend the draw, and that's the way he plays. But he seems to be getting some sort of results because he hasn't been sacked yet. So
he says they were minutes away from a first home league win in 14 games. But I mean, to be fair, Dubravka kept them in it a little bit as well. So I think Dubravka's been really good for them and holding on to it. But yeah, it's not. They haven't won since Matchday 9 against Wolves. And 3 wins all season, and we were sort of praising them early on. And okay, they've dug in a little bit. We've seen draws and we've seen moments, but ultimately, Grimmy, is it the quality again? It's better than when they last came up. Let's be honest. But Dan must be frustrated.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it will be frustrating for them. I think the reason Parker's probably not gone yet is probably because Burnley maybe anticipated this being the case of what the season would be like, and they're probably keeping him to get them back up again. Because like we've said in previous podcasts, in the Championship, he is very good up the Dale. As we get confirmation of their win there. But also, I mean, we said it early on in the season, didn't we, that they were getting themselves in good positions, they just couldn't hold on and see it out. Like the infamous one for me was the Liverpool game at home, and then the United game away, where they could have picked up some really big points, and maybe even the United game could have beaten us at one point. I think they were ahead at one point. So yeah, I think there's just little things that the lack of quality hurts you, and I think they had a few missed opportunities early on the season, and that's kind of killed their hopes of staying up pretty early, unfortunately, for the Burnley fans. But I think they've got enough in the squad if they take the majority of the squad back with them into the Championship, where they'll come back up. Because I'm figuring that basically if Park is still around now, the plan is for him to stay on into next season and do a yo-yo effect essentially, and bring him back up. But yeah, it's not like they haven't been competitive, because they have been competitive games. It's not like when Company was in charge of them getting blown away left, right, and centre. It's just they haven't had the quality to get in front that often, and then when they have got in front on those rare occasions, they just haven't been able to hold on.
Well, that's what they do. That's what Parker does. Mm-hmm. He will just defend any sort of lead or point. We can see the difference because on Saturday when we were at 2-2, Iriola was about to bring Milosevic on. Mm-hmm. Don't know if that's how you say it properly. And then he was like, no, they'd got the second goal. So he then chucked NSU now on instead. Mm-hmm. So it's completely different way of playing. and it's much more fun to watch. But he will, you know, he'll hold on to leads and points just by defending them, and that's how they'll get some sort of results.
Yeah, it's looking like it's kind of slipping away, which is sad. It's sad for Dan because we love Dan. So you know,
Nah, get him chucked back on that Thursday club where he belongs. Sick of him. There we go.
the yo-yo show. The Dan. But yeah, so and we did sort of touch on Tottenham, so we won't go sort of too depth as we say, because Frank's looking like there's danger all over the place for him coming back soon. And say Romero probably saved them what they had, but yeah, sacked in the morning from the Burnley fans. So it's kind of what you'd expect.
Do you think it might be weird, right? And it won't happen because there's no way. You know, I don't think there's anywhere this manager will go, right? But imagine if they sacked Frank and then got Frank Lampard in.
Oh, no chance.
I mean, it would never happen, would it? But like,
no. I don't think he would go though. I think Lampard would stay.
The only place he'll go is back to Chelsea.
Yeah. Although he's got the Redknapp ties, isn't he? You know, Harry Redknapp was there for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure you would at the minute. I think Lampard's going to see the Coventry thing out this season and see where that leaves him. You'd imagine.
I just don't know who actually wants that. Who would actually want that Spurs job though? Like,
well, that's the issue, isn't it? Like, who's free? There's like, as you
Gary
said
O'Neill.
before,
he's in France.
Oh
yeah, he's gone to
Strasbourg, isn't he?
He's taking the senior seat, isn't he?
Because he thinks, well, when Rosignol goes, I'm going to get the Chelsea job. That's how it works. Yeah, but like going into this summer, if we're all assuming that Frank's going to go and not be around, obviously there's a lot of big name managers around, but I don't know if any of them are going to be even the slightly bit interested in going to Spurs and trying to turn it around. And then if you think of the names that will be linked to us, maybe in or around the positions where Spurs are, you've got like Glasner who's leaving Palace, but is that just kind of doing like for like again what you did with Frank? I don't know. Iriola, sorry, from Bournemouth. I don't know if he. No, Heather's just squashing that one dead at the first.
Why would he downgrade?
Well, exactly. This is what I mean. Like, I think like Spurs has kind of become what Newcastle were back in the day, of sort of this like toxic cesspit of like poison chalice of like, why would you go there? Because you're only setting yourself up for failure. And I just don't see any big managers wanting to go there at the minute.
Glasner must have a plan. Do you know what I mean? Because he's absolutely tanked the thing with Crystal Palace and his frustration. And it's almost like he said, someone come and get me, isn't he? This is like a plea, like so far out. And he must have an idea where that's looking for. It's not, I can't imagine it's a summer job in Benidorm or something. But
I think
if they get rid of Slot.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Liverpool and Alonso is the one that everyone's kind of like.
Yeah,
I think that's the one. Or Liverpool could go our route and say, Gerrard, fancy being interim till the end of the season.
I think they'll get Alonso with Gerrard as an assistant.
Yeah,
I definitely think they'll get Alonso at the end of the season. Yeah. I honestly haven't got a name for you for Spurs. I have not got a name for you. I cannot think of anyone who, in the right mind, would go there. You know, I totally get Frank wanting to go, and I totally get that because it's probably the biggest job he'll ever have in his career. With all due respect to him, he's not a top 4 manager, is he? You know what I mean? What he is good at is turning a good club into a very good club. Is what he's done with Brentford. I don't know. I think he needs. I actually think he needs a bit of time. I do think that. Because they've gone from it's like the Nuno experiment, isn't it? When Nuno went to Forest, when Nuno left Forest, they brought in Ange, and they went from like defensive to attack, and it didn't work. Obviously, it's like the same thing where they had Ange in, and Ange, did this whole we're going to like bomb everyone forward, and we're not going to bother about defending. And he's a defensive-minded manager, and the problem is he hasn't got many good defenders. Like Christian Romero's a half decent player, but he's a madman. Mickey van der Ven's a good defender, but he likes to get forward, doesn't he? And they haven't got. I don't think the full backs don't defend very well, do they? So therein lies the problem.
Yeah. And
There
I
might
think
be
they
a
had a
few
rough.
people.
Sorry, there you go.
There might be a few people around after the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like,
They might get Pochettino.
Or Bielsa, might.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel.
See, the thing is, Tuchel is the one that I could see being the fit. Like, I could see him in the Spurs kit. I can see him with the Spurs cap on, and and just absolutely losing his mind pretty much every other game when they just can't play football. So just for that box office on its own, I'd probably say, go for Tuchel. But hopefully he wins us the World Cup in the summer before he does end up going to Spurs. But
if he wins the World Cup, there's no way he can follow that up by going to Spurs. That would just be suicidal move.
I made this point the other day to someone. I was like, if he wins the World Cup with England,
there's nowhere else for him to go.
why does he stay with England? Because he's not going to improve on that, is he? Like, winning the World Cup for England is like one of the biggest things in management you can do. And like, if you achieve that, you're only setting yourself up for failure if you stay at England for another 2 years to go to the Euros. Because like, right, we might get far in the Euros, but all the fans are going to kick off because we haven't won the trophy. And if he stays on for another World Cup for another 4 years, he's setting himself up for failure when we don't win it for another 50 years. Like, I think
I agree. I don't think he stays. I'm sorry. I was going to say he doesn't. I don't think he stays at the World Cup. I just think Tottenham's not the one. If you win the World Cup with England, you're looking at the top jobs, aren't you? You'll be wanting a Madrid or a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich or a
Manchester United.
There's worse appointments to make. Like,
I think he'd be a cracking.
I think he would be good. I think it's a case of we'll see what happens in the summer, because something tells me this Carrick thing isn't going to be over and done with by the time we get to the end of the season. Not saying he's going to get the job, but I just think that there might be more conversations going on than maybe is being let on. I think with how it's gone initially, because when I saw the footage of Ratcliffe going downstairs to go speak to him, I was kind of like, that's a whole different Ratcliffe I've never seen before. He actually looked happy, as if he has billions of pounds in the bank or something. Like, so I don't know. What
have you been making of Jonathan Woodgate?
What am I making of him?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, because it's like, I'm not really the biggest fan of Woodgate as a person, with all the stuff with when he was at Leeds and etc. But if Carrick likes him, and obviously he has worked with him at Borough and obviously can trust him, and if from all reports there's a bit of yin and yang with him and Woodgate, where Woodgate's a bit more vocal and he's kind of a bit more at the players, and Carrick's obviously a bit more of the quiet arm around the shoulder kind of guy, then obviously it's a combination they think can work. Then who am I to argue against it, really? But yeah, I don't really have any. Again, I always find it strange when people criticize who they bring in the backroom staff, because the manager knows what works for them. So you have to go what they're doing. The one I really like for Carrick is the fact that he brought in Steve Holland. Bringing an experienced guy like him, who has been and seen and done it all up and down everywhere in football, and had to put up being assistant for Gareth Southgate as well. Bless his soul. He's done it all. So I think that was a really shrewd move to bring in someone like that who's got a lot of experience. Also a United fan as well. I think that was the smart bit of business that he did by bringing him in.
I only asked because I really liked him when we had him for a manager after Tyndall got booted.
Yeah, but to be fair, like I have no real big contention with him being there. I think if he's as long as he does a good job, what's there to complain about? I don't think he's going to turn around and sort of burn down the Carrington training ground down to the ground. You know what I mean? So if Carrick wants him, then I back Carrick's decision. And if he's not good enough, then Carrick will get rid of him, I'm sure, or someone will get rid of him from the higher ups, I'm sure.
Just very quickly going back to Spurs and managers, right? Ruben Amorim.
Yeah.
he would suit him. He plays mad football and doesn't like to change, does he? So
Could you imagine that though? It's written. The story is written, isn't it? You lose them in the Europa League final, you get sacked by United, and then somehow end up going back to there. That's just
It'd be crazy. I think he needs a break from the British media, doesn't he, for a little bit, maybe, and sun himself up a little bit for a while. But I could something about that I can see. I can see.
As long as Spurs hire him to be a manager and not a coach, you know, like
This is it. I am the manager. You can imagine that first press conference. They'll all be lettered in there. But hey, we'll see. At the minute, Frank's still there. We'll see when we get to next week what the state of play is. We've got a couple of games we'll quickly gloss through, and then we'll look at the results on the table. But I wanted to just say Fulham on a bit of a run, beating Brighton 2-1.
Brilliant result.
Harry Wilson again. Phenomenal free kick at the end. He's developing into such a fantastic player for Fulham and for Wales as well. So he's going to be crucial for them in their upcoming playoffs. So what a fantastic goal. And Fulham, again, do this every season. Always say this every season. Quietly go about their business, difficult at home. And then all of a sudden you look at the league table and go, why don't they all the way up there? They're only 4 points off of the European places. Really good for Fulham, isn't it, Eva?
Yeah, we obviously like Fulham, we've got a shared hatred of Scotty Parker, and they obviously went up the year before us, similar size club and everything, and they always seem to do well. They can go up and down a bit, but they always end up sort of mid-table-ish. And as you say, Harry Wilson, he's just been incredible for them. And for Wales,
tremendous goal as well. Lovely free kick that. He's been class. But they'll probably have to brace. They'll be one in the summer you have to look at, because Marco Silva's out of contract at the end of the season. Is he thinking about a big job?
Spurs,
possibly United, possibly. But also with that, someone's going to come in for Harry Wilson, aren't they? You know, someone's going to take the chance on him. And he probably deserves it as well.
He does. I mean, he's been staying under the radar for a bit, hasn't he? But now he's really sort of putting himself out there.
Yeah, nine league goals. That's almost as much as Gyökeres and Trossard put together for Arsenal.
Yeah, I was reading earlier today that basically the contract negotiations with Fulham and Wilson have stalled because basically he wants to know if Silva's staying or not. And if Silva stays, then he's going to stay. But if he doesn't, then he wants to go. So I think you'll see. I think it's likely Wilson will go in the summer, to be honest. I think some teams higher up and a bit more higher up the food chain will probably want him. I think probably likes of Everton, people like that, maybe. You know, if Everton lose Grealish in the summer and don't get him back, maybe a Villa.
Wasn't he a Liverpool boy, though? I don't know.
Yeah, he's Liverpool.
How deep that goes.
Well, maybe.
There was a really wild room that we were going to put 35 million in for all night.
It's that's the sort of signing for Sunderland to kick on.
I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love it.
That's a statement summer signing,
yeah. So, but I could see him fitting in quite well with Emery at Villa, to be honest. I think he'd work quite well there.
Yeah. I think
doing what Harvey Elliott hasn't done.
But he's been sensational, and I like that fact that you said there, Grimmy, that he's asking about whether Marco Silva's staying or not. That shows he understands his development and that Silva's good for him, and he's thinking about it rather than just kind of I want a big money move or whatever. He's thinking carefully about his position. So, if he can get Wales to the World Cup, he may have a big summer as well. So,
his value's only going up week by week. Never mind if he gets into a World Cup. He's already. I think he's at least a 40-50 million pound player at this point. But yeah, I think he's had a tremendous season. And to be honest, I was thinking about it. Like if I was doing a team of the season, he'd probably be in there for me with what he's done for Fulham.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely been superb. And we know about those World Cup prices, don't we? The World Cup prices will be going through the roof if you get them post World Cup. So we'll see. One more game that we got here. We did mention it very briefly earlier, but a brilliant win for Nottingham Forest away at Brentford, and a really important win with what was going on with West Ham, and say Leeds been picking up points and whatever recently. And they've gone a bit mad striker-wise in the transfer window as well. I think they've got like another 3 in, haven't they? Like they've got, was it Lorenzo Lucas in, and was it I saw they were linked to the other day?
Mateta.
Strand Larson and Mateta, they've been linked to everybody.
Mateta for 35, and God knows what they'll pay for Strand Larson.
But needed, because they need to drag themselves out of it. And Chris Wood is still out injured, and it's not going to happen for 1 year. And is it Jesus? Is their other striker as well, isn't it? They're sort of
he scored the other day, didn't he?
He has started to score, yeah. And David is a bigger Wadney fan. Yeah, Wadney did finally get a goal the other day. But yeah, I will see. So what do we reckon there? So Brentford, it's only their second loss at home as well for Nottingham Forest in there, and starting to get a bit of something together. Is it starting to the love of dice, the dice ball is starting to get everything together at Forest?
Well, he said that, didn't he? It was Keith Andrews said it after the game. He said we got diced, which is fair enough.
Sliced and diced.
I do like Keith Andrews. He does come out with some corkers, like.
Yeah. He's done well. And that's now Forest have now at 7 points out of the last 3, including the draw against Arsenal as well. And the run coming up: Palace, Leeds, Wolves. That's 3 games that they'd target. Palace's form at home, they'd fancy themselves. Leeds away will be tough, but again, they need to put a statement down on the team around them and say, you've got to be beating Wolves at home. That's just what you must be doing if you're down there. So. Yeah. So there we go. We've got a question. Answer one question. Manchester City is win Premier League in this season.
Maybe.
Yes.
No.
Yes, no, and maybe. There we go. We've covered all the bases.
We covered all angles. There you go.
Come back in May to see who was correct.
What's your answer, Sam?
I'm gonna go with no.
Plead the 5th.
So who is then, Sam? Arsenal.
We're only 12 points behind, Dan. I don't know. No, I think Arsenal will have.
Yeah. Okay.
I can. Yeah, I worry a little bit. I don't worry, but I'd like to say the wobbles of potential. I don't think this. I don't see the City run maybe that you're saying. I might be wrong. I think they've got drips and fads in them themselves. I think they'll drop more this year than they would usually do in a title run.
I think just because I think Haaland will eventually become a machine again. And I honestly think that signing of Marquis is a tremendous bit.
Gay's a very good signing.
For 20 million quid, he hoists them straight in. They keep a clean sheet. Yes, I know they were playing Wolves, but I think once they get Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol back, because then they'll put Gvardiol back to left back if they need to. I think they're just going to. I can just see this run coming. I really can, and I think Arsenal have hit a little bit of a skid, and they need to address it straight. Arsenal, I think, have got more questions than City at the minute,
and more pressure, getting that win and that one. And there's been a lot of talk of Pep. Is this the start of his sort of swan song? Is it sort of out? So maybe he's feeling less pressure as well in that case because he's starting to look beyond. Who knows? So. Yeah, what I like is the fact that we've got a title race. Do you know what I mean? Is it's not a foregone conclusion, and that we can
Villa.
We can ask. So yeah, we will.
That's some interesting spelling.
Yeah, I was going to put that up, and I thought, no, we're going to give that a miss with someone spelling in that comment. I think he thinks City will win the league. Let's go with that. So now is a great time to show the other results that we haven't spoke about. So we did, of course, say about Manchester City. They beat Wolves 2-0 the weekend. Not really a surprise there in terms of how that one went, apart from the fact that Haaland was left on the bench. Marmoush starting. I think Pep's been saying he needed a break, which everybody FPL wise was shot on. Can
I just say, Pep Guardiola, can you let us know before we pick our teams before 12 o'clock on a Saturday? Because he was triple captained, everything was going on it, and the worst thing was he brought him on. So then, because my vice was Harry Wilson, so my points would have gone to Harry Wilson. So don't bring him on.
Yes, let us know when he needs to reboot his software, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what did my head in about that? I actually didn't captain Haaland because after the midweek and I'd seen Pep had said some stuff about Marmoush needs to start and all this. I'm thinking he's going to do it at Wolves. He's going to do it against Wolves. So I was like, I won't captain him. So I'll go Ekatike. I'm flipping Slot put him on the bench. And I was like, for God's sake. I thought I'd on to a winner and no, I was on a loser. But David knows what he's doing because apparently he's got near 2,000 in the Premier League.
David, is that in the Premier Fantasy League or is it in Sky Sports or something? Because I think you're talking burgers like.
That's quite a score if it's in the Premier League. I don't know where I'm.
I need to copy your teams, David. If that's the case,
I
definitely need to anyway. But
top of the Absolute Football Podcast FPL, which is Med Kazama, with a total of 1,415, so 600 ahead of our leader. So that's potentially.
I've got 1,165.
There we go. Yeah,
so I do play the Sun newspaper one as well.
This way, Ant's got 20 points.
Oh, I haven't got many. I've given up on that one. Oh, I need to sign in. Don't worry about me. Oh, no, I don't. I've got 1,788 in that. And I've given up on that. I've got that Ego Jesus playing. He scored again. That's the last time I've checked mine. Hello. I've had Semenyo in since he was at Bournemouth, and obviously he's still. I've got Jean-Paul Van Heck in that. I just give that one up.
Jean-Paul Van Damme, get him in there.
Yeah,
potential everywhere. Elsewhere, we've got Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 3. The Crystal Palace slide just continues on and on and on. I mean, Esteval was really exciting for Chelsea again the weekend, and Rossini started really well actually. What a player they've got there. He's some player.
Yeah.
But Palace, I think we touched upon it a little bit earlier, but are just in an absolute freefall. I mean, I think I said at the start of the season, I was worried for them how they'd manage the squad with Europe, etc. But now on the fact that you've had the Glasner situation, Gay's gone, you've got obviously the SA go at the summer just before the transfer window as well that he was pretty peeved off about. Mateta's now said, I've had enough of this. This is a mess. It's all falling to pieces. And just where does it go from here? Are they genuine? Could you generally see Palace continuing this slide? Because nothing positive's coming out of the club.
They have got a huge game on Sunday. They've got Forest away. For me, if they lose that game, you've got to put them down as relegation candidates. You really do. Because, Heather made the point before, West Ham do normally pick up some results, go on a run, even though we kind of said we don't see that happening this season. But if they're losing every game, and bearing in mind, I mean, Spinny Fan Chris since the FA Cup loss back, it was happening before then. You know what I mean? They haven't won a game since November, I think, isn't it? And I'm worried for them, mate. I say worried. I'm not.
Are they still in their European competition?
Yeah. But they're in a playoff as well. They've got a playoff round because they messed that up a bit as well, and they had they should have stormed it. And they've got to play an extra round now for that too. So
maybe that was their plan, like try and get as far as they can in Europe and not worry about the league so much because there's probably still going to be 3 worse teams.
The problem is he hasn't rotated, is he?
The week after, they've got Brighton in a Darton way, in the most pointless derby known to man, but it's a derby. But yeah, you've got to put them there. You've got to put them there now as candidates.
Yeah, and the Macclesfield FA Cup loss on top of that as well. Yeah, it's just with how well they started the season and the high of winning the FA Cup. And I remember watching, some of that Community Shield, and they started really well at the start of the season as well and looked like a proper team. And it's just all gone completely off the rails. They must be wondering what's happened to their club in 6 months. It's mad.
I watched them against us when we played them like the week before, and they went ahead, but it was like, it was a goal out of nowhere. But then we equalised straight away, and you were thinking in the second half it's going to be like a really, really good game of football. And it was when he went like mental. Glasner went mental after the game, saying, we're being abandoned, wasn't it? And they did not put up any fight whatsoever in the second half. We just like controlled the game, ended up getting to go through Broby. And even then, he didn't change anything, didn't bring any subs on, just give up. You know what I mean? He is giving up there, Glasner. And for me, if I was Steve Parish, I'm going to actually say, like, surely you've got to kind of put everything to one side, say thank you very much for the FA Cup. Thank you very much for doing what you've done. But we need someone to come in to kind of save this season. Because otherwise, under him, if he's just going to be like doing what he's doing and still going to be like, oh, this, that, and the other, they will get relegated.
And there's no good in now, you know, the window's pretty much closed. There's no good in it because you can keep harking back. If things keep getting wrong, the media will keep getting on it. It will keep getting more spiky. And if he keeps bringing up Gahey and Eze and all of that's gone, it's not going to help the team going forward, is it? And you know,
if Mateta, see if Mateta goes in, you know, when's the transfer industry? Was it shut on Saturday? Transfer window.
The second, whenever that is.
Monday. So say if they get rid of Mateta, then there's the goals gone. You know, Adam Wharton got sent off, so he's missing at the weekend. And it's like I say, it's just it's absolutely mental. Or very beautiful, as Graham's just put, which, you know, I find it hard to disagree.
Our regular chop man is extremely disappointed. Simon says, I know he scored first last night, but I don't think Eze will be a big miss for Palace as Glasner made it sound. He's talking about Eze, isn't he? Eberiche Eze is more, I think we would.
He was on about Eze, not Eze.
I think he's more disappointed about Eze going back in the summer because he alluded to, didn't he, that was done last minute at the window, and the same with kind of Gahey. But I mean, he's known Gahey was going. The fact they managed to keep him in after the summer window was a surprise because.
But he only kept him because he threatened to leave, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he only kept him because he threatened to leave. Gahey then went out and said, you know, next season I want to be in the Champions League or whatever. I want to play for a big club. And you can't get in Mark Gahey's way for that. You can't get into Mark Gahey. You know, Mark Gahey has done a cracking job there. Really, really good football. Got an England team on merit. Absolutely fantastic footballer. City coming for him. Of course, you want to go there. But when Liverpool were in, even when I thought they did well when they rejected the Newcastle bid because they still had like a little bit of like momentum, didn't they? But as soon as Liverpool went in for him and give him 65 million quid or whatever it was, you've got to bite the hands off there. You've got to know when the time's right to sell someone. You know what I mean? You've got to know when the time's right. And even though he said, right, I'm off, if I was Paris, I'd be like, right, off you go then. Because they're going to replace him anyway. And no one outlasts the club. No matter what player, what manager, what anything, no one outlasts the club. And what he probably should have done was thinking, well, we've got this massive 65 million quid. We can bring 2 or 3 players in with that. But then they've lost them for peanuts. I mean, 20 million's nothing from our Gahey, is it really?
Particularly if you've now got the fact the manager's going to go anyway.
Yes.
And so if they end up at the end of the season where, say they did get relegated, be going, so that bid that they turned down in August, they could be 45 million better off. The manager's gone anyway, and they're now in the Championship. It'd be like that one decision could prove to be, I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, they wouldn't be as high as they are if they'd have lost Gahey in September because they wouldn't have been able to replace him. But you know what I mean? As you said, they would have been rebuilding in a different way. And then, you know, but that expectations probably winning the FA Cup and probably the pressure of the fans as well. So we can't, having already let Eberiche Eze go, all of that noise kind of going on. But it's just kind of
maybe they just hate Liverpool. Because
it could be a thing, yeah. Maybe he's an Everton fan.
Don't we all?
No, they really, really, really need somebody like Gahey in their defence. So perhaps that was part of the reason. Like
Liverpool fans are fuming at the fact that deal wasn't done, and you know their season could have been very different. But he's at Manchester City now, so there you go. So we'll see. Palace in trouble. And then yesterday we had the Dominic Calvert-Lewin derby, Everton versus Leeds United. The Hill Dickinson, and he didn't score. Rebecca will be relieved, very relieved. But yes, it was Everton 1, Leeds 1. Leeds picking up another good point. That's slowly just doing bits and being a difficult team. Farker's done well, to be fair, because he was under pressure earlier in the season, wasn't he? And they seem to be adjusting to the Premier League a bit better now.
It's good to see Tieno Barry getting a few goals for Everton as well after that big move, and everyone thought he was flopping and stuff. You've got to give these players time. He is very, very young. He's a good footballer. So, yeah. I think that was a very predictable result last night, though. 1-1.
The standard 1-1. I think Leeds have had a few of them as well, haven't they? Yeah. They drew with us 1-1. They drew with you 1-1. They drew with Brentford 1-1. Love a good 1-1. There we are. Love a good 1-1. And there we are. Let's bring up La Table. In La Table, there is the league table, and yes, it is Arsenal top by 4 points now, just 4 points for Manchester City and Aston Villa in that kind of tight race. And then look who's in fourth, Grimmy. What's happened there? Oh my word, look at that. In the gloriness of yellows, Manchester United sitting in fourth place, 38 points, just ahead of Chelsea on 37 points. Liverpool in sixth. Fulham doing so well just there in seventh too. Then if we go to the bottom, West Ham, despite that victory, still 5 points adrift of Nottingham Forest with that 20 points. Burnley in 19th with just 5 points back on 15, and Wolves. I mean, it wasn't the weekend for them against Manchester City, and they've been a bit better recently, but still, that measly 8 points is still a long way to go for anything miraculous to happen there.
And the minus 28 definitely doesn't help either.
No, honestly, yeah, it's not the kind of goal difference you're looking for, to be fair.
No.
But at least there's a bit more spirit that we've seen from him in recent weeks.
He has addressed that a little bit, hasn't he, Rob Edwards? They're not losing by 5 or 6 anymore. He has addressed a little bit.
It's tighter because you worried about that. That City game came a bit earlier and they could have got absolutely slaughtered. But they kept a clean sheet. Newcastle clean sheet against West Ham. Only conceded once to Everton. It's better. It wasn't hard to be better, but it is a bit better. Bless him in that scenario.
We'll probably give them points at the weekend.
This is true. They've got Bournemouth there, so yeah, you'll find out firsthand what Wolves are all about. But we've reached the end of the show. Thank you to everybody for joining us tonight, talking everything Premier League. It's officially our first Premier League kind of get together for the year, so that was lovely. And thank you very much to my wonderful co-hosts, cohorts. Who knows? But the main man, Superman, Mr. Ants has been with us tonight. Where can everybody find you?
Still on Twitter, just at @_Waterson, and also on Blue Sky at the same @_Waterson. And also you can find it on Thursday, just an early plug, with hopefully the correct music and the absolutely EFL show.
Hopefully the correct music. I will, with best endeavours, the EFL music. And as well, our Happy Cherry, Heather, lovely to have you on the show as well today. Thank you for coming as well. Where can everybody find you and your stuff?
I'm on Hedgehog73 on all of the platforms that there is.
Got all of the platforms, got all of that covered. And a man who's got all of it covered, always, all of the time. Grimmy, where can everybody find you?
On Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days, I'm Grimmy16. Been doing some TikToks recently on my sports card stuff. So if you want to see that, that's Saint Grimmy on there. And yeah, whenever I'm on here, which is most weeks. So yeah, that's about it really.
Magic. And you can check me out at Sam Absolute FBL. We'll be doing some other content stuff soon, but it's all been podcast stuff recently, which is great because I bloody love it. So it's keeping me happy and keeping me busy, that's for sure. We've got plenty coming up as well this week. It's not over this week. We're only halfway through in terms of show relating. We've got of course, we had the Monday, the brilliant, absolutely non-league show last night, where we had Ben was doing a fabulous job hosting. We had Shah back on it as well as Rochdale Continue their client, and the wonderful guys from NL Full Time, that collaboration there. So do check that out. Everything absolutely non-league. We're usually on Tuesdays, absolutely Premier League show. If not, now and again, we'll do the odd watch along as well, depending what's going on. I think next week we'll probably be doing the show because I think it's only EFL Cup next week. But yes, we'll be back Tuesday at 8:30. Tomorrow is the WSL Women's Super League Women's Football Show. Freya's got the cast of thousands tomorrow. We've got quite a cast coming on to talk everything going on there. So do check that out.
That'll still be on when the
how long are they going to be on? I think they've got like 6 people. I said to Fred, if this is going to go past midnight, isn't it? Guaranteed. It'll be the first one that goes into a second day, I think. There's that possibility. I need to make sure they've got enough storage on the StreamYard, I think. That's the thing I'll do on the finish up, just in case, to make sure. And on Thursday, as Ant has said, he's back. He is leading the Rowdy Rabble into battle. Fabulous show that last week as well was great fun. Got to have Chloe on as well, I think. So she was hilarious. Her and Claire back and forth. Cambridge United has become the new lovable team, I think.
They've gone under the radar this season.
They've gone very much under the radar. No more. Are they under the radar with those two on them? But yes, it'll be and a cast of mystery team. We're not too sure yet, but they'll be back on Thursday. Everything EFL Championship, League One and League Two. We are 8:30 live those days. If you don't know already, we do interviews, club episodes. There's the Women in Football series, second series coming out this year, as well as many other things coming on the channel. We are Twitter, Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube and Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast, TikTok, Absolute Football Pod, Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Sky, Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. You can catch us on all of those. And thank you very much to everyone in the chat as well. Always great to chat football with you. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the football, and we will catch you on the next one. Ciao for now.